All right. Michael McQuary. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you said really well.
This one's a super simple question. Worst film you've ever seen?
Worst film I've ever seen?
Mm-hmm. Not worst film you've ever been in. Worst film you've ever seen.
I don't know. This is sort of. I should just go boom. What is it?
Yeah,
I don't have. I'm kind of. As you get younger, you kind of get more generous. Maybe some of the Hammer Frankenstein movies.
Ooh. Okay.
They don't have the flatus or the glamour. And then when you know Christopher Lee later for doing the Fu Manchu movies, you kind of lighten up.
You're like, oh, okay.
He liked my version of Fu Manchu.
Okay. I like where we're going with this.
Oh, and then you land, and here you are. We are rolling, right?
Yeah, we've been rolling.
Oh, click.
We've been rolling. Yeah, no, you were on set for a while now.
We love the sprinkle some salt, bam, bam, wow, pow.
So, first of all, thank you so much. This is going to be an interesting interview right off the bat. I found you through GCU, and from the moment I saw the interview, I was like, that energy. So really, we're going to start off by giving you your flowers. I have not come across an actor, a personality, a creative type like yourself who just exuberates so much expressive energy. You know what I mean?
It's just nice, yeah.
It's like
your phraseology is really great.
I try.
It's received nicely.
I try. You know, I like to use different words, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? But you're somewhere between Phyllis Diller and Bette Midler and Rip Torn.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of
what's it in the pool, algae?
See what I'm saying? There's just a lot of that.
Tammy Faye had an eyelasher when it landed on her toe. It broke it.
Oh my! See, I love I love that energy. I think it's fun.
Was that good enough?
That was on the nose. And the fact that in the person you're like that. I always love it when people are as authentic in the person as they show online, right? And I knew from our interaction, like, no, this guy is 100% expressive, and who he shows is who he is. So I just wanted to start off with the flowers early.
Thank
you. What's a thespian eat for breakfast?
Ego-less checks. I have a nice riff on this. Are you ready for this? You know those old Ray Harryhausen, I don't know, Jason the Argonauts movies, the guy that did stop animation, Clash of the Titans. His name is Ray Harryhausen, I did a show, I did Medusa, like.
Oh, wow.
And he said, you know, at 80-something before he died, you know, someone said, oh, what's the one thing about Hollywood? What's the one thing that whatever, like your question? And he said, well, all I'm going to say is modesty in Hollywood is an ugly word. And I was like, wow.
Okay.
And that kind of, I mean, it's just interesting. You take that for how you can, where it settles in you, you know.
It says a whole hell of a lot.
It's exactly. You have to, like, you know, have your flowers, as you say, but bloom and grow and look at it and know where to go and try things and take time to smell the daisies.
So, all right, this is gonna be one of those.
Well, you asked for it.
Yeah, we did.
The roller coaster ride.
No, this is gonna be fun though. I like this. Well, first of all, we're gonna have a lot of sound bites. I just feel like there's gonna be sound bites galore. One of the ways that you described yourself is like multi-nominated B film actor, right? And for me, I need to understand. There's probably a couple questions here that play off of that.
Right. What does that mean?
Like what is a B film? And then I guess the other part of it is how does that relate to the A list, B list, right? You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that phrase in kind of a cavalcade, like a prism, came from actually when I was selling my place in New York to come here because I had to leave.
Okay.
And the real estate people came in and freaked out over the place. It's online. If you just Google Michael McQuary, his home, it hit all the newspapers.
Oh, wow.
It was the craziest pad they had ever seen, the Daily News. They brought it back. It was on CNN Money, and it all came from hunger. I did it because I was trying to keep myself alive, you know? And so they came up with this tagline, one of the greatest horror B film actors, the Fu Man, Michael McQuary is selling his place to go to Kansas City because time was up.
Okay.
The B list. It's like the B is like not the A list, which is sort of like not as top notch as the A.
So second shelf of shelf.
Second, second fiddle.
But
But yeah, people love that stuff.
And so that's the next part of it is like what puts you in that category? Is it just because the film didn't get enough notoriety?
It's a little.
Or series of films, I should say, right?
No, that's interesting. It's just that was the niche I fell into because they couldn't explain me. And when I was trying to figure, I went to New York in 1980. I mean, I hope I'm not ruining or jumping the gun.
No, you're not.
And
no.
I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts at 18.
Okay.
They put me in 2 sections because I looked like you at one time, attractive. Now I'm just mysterious and fascinating. And so they threw me in these, and I hated it.
What?
I hated the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. So my friend, we went into the nightlife, and I became this thing. And I found cabaret. I went down to the bars in the West Village.
Okay.
And became the jewel of the underworld. Is what they. And so anyway, so then I did these other things at these clubs, and I had to create something with the old movies and make it interesting. So I did these grand things that people just freaked out over.
Okay.
And then later on, films there was a series called Fu Manchu's Weapon of Evil, and they said, "Oh, perfect! You're the other type of motion pictures. You're like the sci-fi. You're like bizarro. Yet you're very interesting, but I don't think you're prime time. Maybe later." And so I took that and like a classic Batman villain, or I made it everything.
Right.
I thought I'd exude and be this bizarro thing.
Oh,
And
so you just leaned into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just ran faster with that. And then these major celebrities and big stars, I didn't know were watching what I was going to do next. And then someone out of the blue said, if you take all that crazy McQuary and hone it into a laser. So now at this age, it's like I'm seeing what that's about maybe, and listening and being smarter and catching up to you to make what I want to say resonate to others.
Right. But I think, what you were doing then and now still resonates though, because if it didn't, people wouldn't.
Exactly. Why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happened was, I love your name. I love to go everywhere. This is the real SprinkleSumSalt. Boom, bam, wow. I just had to when I got here, people knew me from YouTube, from when I was younger.
Right.
And they said, wow, you did this Walt Disney stuff. You did, I just did when I did Medusa. With that, I did all that stuff in a show.
Right.
And, we know you from when you were younger. What are you doing here?
Right. Like,
and I'm like, oops, that's when you realize people are here too.
Oh.
And so I had to try to make it work, and it really kind of wasn't. So, and then these other people in the commercial world here and in the film work here said, just do your thing, still do your thing.
Yeah.
That was one way of like kind of dealing with me.
Yeah.
And, the ouch still happens, but that's where all this stuff came from, was the ding and ping.
Right. From being
an only child and being like
pushed off.
And so then I just became like a Night on Bald Mountain from Fantasia. I became that.
I love the references here, y'all. I hope y'all are catching these.
Yeah.
So
I just created my own persona, which was the matinee idol.
With that, okay. So with that, I mean, obviously, there's struggle and strife to be recognized, to reach acclaim, or just to like get your foot in the door, right?
Right.
But there is. I'm gonna ask it like I wrote it. Is catching the acting bug similar to chasing the dragon?
Yeah, it's very much that, and getting hurt by it and pulling yourself out of it. Because when I was 4, it's interesting. Always when I do these lovely chit chats of the real is the deal is what I call it.
Right, right.
4 years old, The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
My mother said something happened, and the Wicked Witch, when she's like, I'll show you M.
Oh shit.
Well, I wasn't afraid of that. And she's
Right.
like, and I wanted to do that and do all the characters with that moment, and so I got it then.
Right then and there.
Right then and there. And she said, "Oh, you were the Scarecrow, you were the Witch, you were the Tin Man, but you liked the Witch a lot." That's kind of when she knew she wasn't going to have grandchildren.
She's like,
But she's okay with that, But anyway, so that's when I got it. But then the dragon part, being burned by it, was not everyone, as my grandmother said, not everyone's going to like you.
right.
And that was hard for me.
Ooh.
I was the only child,
Yeah. So
I became Dracula in her
in
steamer
that
trunks.
right, but I mean, in that kind of situation, though, you are accustomed to people liking you because you're an only child, because you have this world. You can.
But then the ones that see it get it. I'm like them, so then it's okay. Yeah, you find your audience, so to speak.
And that's a key thing as an actor,
And
or,
to know your
or
audience,
as a
too.
creative,
Right.
To know your audience, but also to find your audience, right? Or to put yourself
Yeah.
in a
Or
situation
to be able to work with that.
so that they can find you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Comedy or horror? Which one do you prefer to watch, and which genre do you prefer to work?
It's interesting. My horror is people laugh out of like what's happening. Like when I do Lugosi, which we'll talk about my show later, I do Bela Lugosi's Count Dracula singing a tango,
Okay.
but I'm completely 10 trillion% invested in it. So when I do Lugosi, I do Dracula from the 1931 Dracula, and then all of a sudden there's a moment where the music happens, and I go into this Tarantella tango.
Nice. Okay.
Right? See, it resonates.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how old you are and what you like, rap, hip hop, whatever. It's still music.
Yes.
And it's still entertainment.
Well, as long as the transition hits,
Yeah.
I'm good.
So, but I like. Am I staying? Are we okay so far?
Oh no, you're perfect. No,
I
no,
like
I'm
the horror. Yeah. Well.
No.
Exactly. I love how you bounce. You got a good bounce thing going on here.
That's what I do. Well, I'm
He's got the moves, by the way.
Hey now, hey, whoa. No, I'm kidding. I like that.
Sprinkle some salt.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it or don't get it.
So, are actors allowed to have regrets? Or and let me are actors allowed to have regrets, or is everything fuel for the role or for the endeavor that you're taking on?
Okay, this is really going to be an interesting answer, and the question is gargantuanly important. And I think that others will get this in a very interesting way, that you might not be the schooled answer. But I was lucky. I have to take you to a place in New York with Uta Hagen, who was the teacher at HB Studios. And I met her, and I went to her school, and she was in Boys from Brazil. She was the German lady in Boys from Brazil with James Mason, and she's like, "I cannot tell you this, and it's very all the way." And I talked to her, and I'd say, "I am different." She said, "You are the surprise that's not expected that I try to teach."
Okay.
And I don't have a real answer for you because you're different. So go with the different. Be your own thing. You're not, again, going back to the A-list, you're probably not that Broadway actor,
Okay.
but you're interesting for other people. You're their entertainment. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Because you're taking everything you don't have and make it everything you want to show.
Oh.
So Mel Brooks, here we go. Here's a name.
We all love Mel, yeah.
I don't get to the story enough.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. We love a Mel
I
Brooks story.
lived, is this okay segment to go to?
There is no bad segment to go to.
I lived on 6th Avenue and 9th Street in New York City, and there was a little restaurant on 11th Street called French Roast.
Okay.
It was a 24-hour restaurant, little French bistro. And I would go out really late at night because I never liked myself. Nothing was ever good enough. And I would wander around and, go have a couple of drinks. This was back in the whatever. Now I'm around more, but anyway. So, and I would walk by, and there was this guy always at 2 o'clock in the morning sitting outside of French roast because they had an outside patio.
Okay.
And he always had an entourage, like, Michael McQuary, Mike, come over. Michael, come over. Michael, I went, wow, how are you? How's Annie? Oh, she's okay. Oh, she's not doing so well. Anyway,
Don't worry about that.
yeah,
Here's the part.
I know. Hey, do that Son of Frankenstein thing. Do that.
Oh, okay.
Do Igor from Son of Frankenstein. Do that thing with your, hey, watch this. Watch this. What are you going to do? I can't not do it.
Right. So
I'm like, oh, and he was, Michael McQuary, don't they know who you are yet? And I went, well, hi, hell, you're going to do something? I said, okay, so, yeah, he said, and he would get all like a little boy.
Yeah.
See, I'm not in his stuff, but he wants me to perform for him.
Yeah.
He goes, Michael, so do it. He's like this. And so I said, you, Dr. Frankenstein, nobody can mend Igor's neck. It's all right. He'd go,
Yeah, he was just.
because he said, you make the sound with your foot, with the neck, with the bump.
He just ate that up.
He said, you're it. You're it. You don't have it, so you make it.
I like that.
And he goes, what should I do on Broadway? I say, do your Young Frankenstein.
Right.
Well, we all know what happened then. He did it.
And
so here I am. I'm the guy. I'm the real Lord of the Shadows.
oh snap!
Anyway,
We'll
go there.
I can say that's an interesting angle. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I know. Oops.
This one,
I think your pages that caught fire.
this one, yeah, that was some tea right there at the clock. Let me.
When you said shade, I created the look for shade. It was this.
I wrote this one to be funny, but
Okay.
I think you'll get this one. Are the drugs weaker when you're on the B list?
God, I never did that. I was always afraid of them, and I never liked all the hard stuff. I mean, there was a club called The Saint, Studio 54 Days, and I was a go-go boy when I looked like this. You know? Now I look like,
He looks like a former
now I
go-go
look
boy.
like a Frankenstein movie Hammer that I don't like. So no, but I would go there, and there was it was okay. There was a different thing happening then,
Right.
And it was electric. It was
Okay.
electric. There was a and you just fell into it, and you cranked the music louder, and it was different. Oh, but for the bee, actually, I think they wanted to leave the planet. I think the bee people, so they
partied a little harder.
a little harder.
Oh, okay.
The A people came in and went because they had the money. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
They can go to the better restaurants. I just had a hamburger.
Hey, we like hamburgers.
I like hamburgers. No, we do a little bit of both. You got to put yourself in that headset.
So, did you ever? I mean, over the span of your career, do you ever get a chance to meet one of your idols, and how did you handle it? Like, what did you fanboy out and just like get all verklempt, or did you? Hey, how you doing, sir? Glad you're here. Welcome thank you for being here.
I love that. That's what I get. You're whether or not there. Sometimes. She'll laugh at that later.
Yes.
We look back at you and you were like this, and we were all. I'm sorry. That's okay.
No,
we still love you. I used to work at a place called. Oh, there we go. I was at the Antique Boutique. I was a celebrity shopper, so I worked with all of them.
Okay.
And this is really interesting. I was with Catherine Deneuve. She was the most beautiful woman in the world at one time. She did The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. This is a movie that your grandmother or great-grandmother would know. She was the bust of France. She was like the Statue of Liberty in Paris. She was the most beautiful woman in the world, Catherine Deneuve. She was in The Hunger, that David Bowie movie, The Hunger, with Susan Sarandon, The Hunger. She's Mrs. Blaylock. And she's this gorgeous blonde. And she would come in, and I liked her because I didn't know who she was at the moment, but I knew who she was by how people acted around her.
So you knew, like,
well, people were like, and I was always hungover, and I had these eyes, these green eyes, and she'd say, "You have the most beautiful eyes, Michael," and I went, "Oh, thank you, you're nice."
Yeah.
And I think we just clicked, and then I found out later she's Catherine Deneuve.
Right.
I stutter if I'm excited. Catherine Deneuve.
Deneuve. Yeah.
Catherine Deneuve, the nerve of Deneuve.
Yeah.
But she was so incredible. And so, like, once I knew who she was, she was interesting. But there's so many stories. Who did I meet that I was like, Well, Mel was interesting.
You met Mel?
With Mel Brooks.
You met Mel Brooks.
Well, that's what I was talking about, the Frankenstein thing.
That was Mel Brooks?
That was Mel Brooks.
I didn't catch that. I'm so...
No,
what?
wait, no, yeah. And when I said Young Frankenstein...
Are you fucking kidding me?
For cereal. Sprinkle some salt. I need the water now.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was Melly.
I know. I got so lost in the story, I forgot who.
That was my bad.
No,
that was the
no.
biggie. That's one of them. That's a big one.
That's crazy. Mel Brooks.
He
History of the world.
Exactly. He's the one that said, "Do that thing, Mike." I know there was so much going on. There was so much show.
Oh
right?
my God.
That was the.
So that hits
That
even
was the
more.
Mel Brooks.
That hits even more when he was like, "Why don't people know you?"
And he said he knew who I was. Michael, come here.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, because he knew me from the cabaret show.
This guys. Okay, so first of all, this is
that
what
was
happens.
Back in the 80s.
This is what happens when you get so involved in what they're saying that you
And you're
didn't
with
really
us.
pay attention. The other part is this is what we call a slow burner. When
Ow.
you know what I mean, the joke hits you and you're like, "Oh shit, here
Slow,
I am." Yeah. So
So that's why I threw the water at you.
because wow.
You didn't see it, but it was.
Mel Blazing Saddles.
Mel-
Okay,
yeah.
let me get focused. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just
Did
okay.
you Well, you have it, and you have it.
Yeah, I'll get it. Yeah,
You'll go back.
yeah. Okay, we'll clip it. Oh my God. So, what are some range of talents that are needed to be successful as an actor? Doesn't matter whether you're A-list, B-list, C-list. Doesn't matter.
I love this because you're really getting the real, like, how do you, like, what happens? What do you do? What's the thing? And I think it's an individual journey. Well, I think, the perseverance, you have to do the agent stuff, and I haven't got one. And there's someone, pardon me, in my world that's, get an agent because then you can do these commercials and you have to struggle so hard with what you got. And I mean, as far as income,
Right.
But an agent, I'm older now, but my work is better. So something to look forward to. Just letting you, grandma never tells you this. You do feel more as you get younger. It's my way of saying getting older.
Yeah.
So you need an agent. You need the real, just, you have something that no one else does, I
Right.
think.
That uniqueness.
Yeah, what worked for me was the personality, and I knew some. And I was very young when I met some of my heroes, and they were very old. I got to meet when I did the drawing stuff. I was on a lunch break from Antique Boutique, and I only could do my 99-cent pizza. And there was a place called Sidewalk Cafe, and David Bowie, and Salvador Dali are going. And I'm going, what does that mean? I was actually scared, you
Right.
know. I mean, I bumped my head too, like that, the whole thing. And I ran away, and I was like, they were like saying, "Come here, do your thing."
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the dance with Madonna, that's what I did. All the drawings, people falling down elevator shafts. And I'm like, wait, I'm not done yet.
Right.
You know.
There's so much going on here. Oh my. Okay, we're gonna get to the drawings. I want to get to the drawings, but hold on. There's so much going on here, guys.
And I gotta stop and back up, right?
What? No.
We're fun. We're
no.
ripping with it.
You don't need to do anything but what you're doing.
Slow burn, medium burn,
You
fast
don't-
burn,
any burn. We don't give a
supernova.
damn. We don't give a damn. There's
This is a fun one, right?
there's an urgent care
Is
somewhere.
this what you wanted?
Yes. Yes.
There's an ER out there somewhere.
Somebody.
I help them.
Are eccentricities a result of being an actor, or is being an actor a result of having a lot of eccentricities?
It's such an interesting poised question because eccentricities. I can't even
Tough
say
word, I know, right?
Eccentricity. Me. Eccentricity. You know what I mean. Say it again.
Eccentricity.
Eccentricity.
Did I say
Did
it
we
right?
get there?
I think we did. Quirkiness.
Quirkiness, eccentricities. I cultivated my own because I always liked, I liked the old movies, and that's all they were.
Okay.
Were stylized. I call it stylized.
Okay.
And like the old MGM musicals and that kind of stuff, and the old glamour horror movies, like when Lugosi was holding his cape, it was like, what is that? What is that? That is so. It wasn't like just boom. It was like
There's a certain
he was still acting.
Yeah.
And it was all down here. Well, because he was Hungarian, I guess. But there was a 10 trillion% attention to detail.
Right.
And when people ask, I don't want to jump a question, but
No, go ahead.
when some of these, this is a very fun, and I just want to say thank you.
Sprinkle some
This
salt.
is
to
just a
myself.
salt, S-U-N. When people say, "Oh, you say that nothing's ever good enough," nothing's ever good enough. I go, there is something that I thought was good enough.
Okay.
And
Dun dun dun.
the Evil Queen and Snow White cartoon, the cartoon.
Okay, not the.
The evil, not it would. Anyway, so much bad, but anyway, I enjoy the movie. But the cartoon, I would say, and I did it on stage, and people would freak out because it's the Mel Brooks thing. I would do. Should I do it?
Yeah.
So, and this leads up to this. When I first got here, it was a little bittersweet. But Harry's Country Club, Harry's like this. He's kind of like Mel Brooks. He's like, he also has this restaurant called Brown and Low
Okay.
at the River Market. It's a really nice place, very fancy. It's like Casablanca. It's like anyway, it's another old movie. But so I go in there on a New Year's Eve, I think the 2023 New Year's Eve dinner, right?
Okay.
And Harry, the guy that owns the joint, says, "Michael, come over here. Come here. I want you to meet my friends." And I'm like, and the people I were with, like, "Oh gosh, here we go.
Right.
We'll never get to we'll never whatever." And I said, there were these old guys, and I said, "Hi, I'm Michael McQuary." He's like, "Oh, we're Elijah Disney, and this is my brother Disney."
Oh wow.
And I'm like, and I said to Harry, "Did you?" And I said, "What, the real Disney?" "Oh yeah, we're the cousins of Walt. That Walt was a good guy."
Wow.
And I said, "Well,
Now yeah.
And he said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, what I did was I did the evil Queen from Snow White, and it stopped the show, and they're still back there in New York with their mouths open and waiting for it to end. There's probably 3 minutes left somewhere. Yeah, do it." Slave in the magic mirror, come from the farthest space. Through winds and darkness, I summons thee. Speak, let me see thy face. "Oh, you're so good. Why weren't you there? Walt would have loved you." That's what they said.
You were good. I was captivated. I was
fun,
stuck.
right?
Well, no, you know what? The Bela Lugosi kicks in for me because
I took off my glasses for you.
you have like you really get into the role and the movements, the commit, like you said, 1/millionth percent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was captivated. That was okay. You're good.
I sent you. I think I sent you way too much stuff. Danielle Cox, our dear friend, she's like, "Wow, I had so much stuff to look at."
Yeah, no, there's plenty of material.
Yeah.
Plenty of material. But that actually, well, it helps.
Yeah.
In some ways, to give me a rough idea, but a lot of times,
And people take what they like.
well, a lot of it, well, that too. But a lot of times, I'll just kind of get a general idea, and I use this for discovery. This is the part that lets me know, like, it really identifies the rest of what I'm seeing now. Like, it informs, like, oh, that's why this is going on. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's fun for the real for me because normal's hard for me. When I did the Complete Performer with Ted Greenberg we got an Emmy for the David Letterman show. I was his. I don't mean to segue to another thing.
No.
But I
We
was.
love segues.
I was the mascot with Ted Greenberg show the Complete Performer at the Soho Playhouse.
Wow.
And that ran for 4 years, and sometimes it didn't go on. But when I did, it was like, oh gosh, this is,
Here I
I
am, yeah.
gotta. So I'm backstage with him, and I'm like, oh, Ted, because I was somewhere else the whole day, and the guy that was his normal sidekick couldn't do it, and I was the understudy, so I had to go on.
You're
And
on.
I got paid every week for not doing it. Now I got.
Now you got to
gotta
do it.
show up.
That 1 week, you got to pay.
So I'm
you gotta do
backstage
it.
with him. We're getting changed in the liquor. I mean, in the cooler, because that's the big time. The real big time is you're in tight places getting your outfit on. And I said, Ted, I don't know what do I do? I said, I just listen to you and I'll just follow. You're Michael McQuary. Whatever you do, work. Oh no, he said it this way. You're Michael McQuary. Anything you do works. It's okay.
Gotta do it.
Just do, yeah.
Have you ever?
Pardon me.
Why don't you do do you do voice acting? Because you seem to like have a lot of different personalities that come out.
You need a special agent for that. And I knew Mel Blanc. I knew Bugs Bunny. I did a drawing for him. But that was when I was super younger, and that Mel was the greatest guy. I do voices for myself for my own shows.
Okay.
I mean, it's always interesting, and it's not that you don't know, but there's so much to go there.
You're right, to
What
do
you're
this
saying,
thing.
because I can, and what I just did with the Evil Queen, that was exactly her.
Right.
I even did the echo chamber. My voice becomes like a velvet cylinder. Did you catch all that?
Well,
You're like, no, but the voices, no, I love voices more so now. When you get older, you discover more, you discover more things.
he
and,
almost lost character there, y'all.
I
He almost lost character.
But you can tell I'm getting relaxed with you.
So
You
look,
better watch me. You better be.
the role that got away. What's the role or the character that you didn't get?
Did I say that with the Ronan at the Wonder Wheel? Men in Black 3.
What?
Yeah. So, this was back when they were, Men in Black 3. I got a call on a telephone, back in the old-fashioned telephone, when was Men in Black 3?
Rotary, yeah. What?
I think it was like, so I was going to say satellite. It was a guy who I knew, I should probably say name, but he did a lot of Die Hard movies. He was always the guy that gets blown up.
Okay.
He was one of the thugs in the Die Hard movies because he was Dutch.
Okay.
So he also had a recurring role in a soap opera. Anyway, so he said, "Hi, Michael. Contact this lady. I already told her about you. It's for Men in Black 3. Ronan at the Wonder Wheel. You're an alien, and so you should go do this." And I went,
You could play an alien pretty well.
well, here's the thing. Here was the role that got away. When I went to do the audition, normally it's this big, I forgot her name, big casting agent, and only their assistants see you, right? Mm-hmm. She came in herself. And she said, "I had to see you because you had a great online presence," right?
Right.
So I had the sides, and I was super nervous, and I was treated really well, like Devil Wears Prada. They all came in and said, "You do this, you do that." And I started out way too big. And she was like, "Oh, no." And so it's too bad. I didn't, whatever. Then later when I see Ronan at the Wonder Wheel, it's just this tiny little role. And other people in the movie said, "Damn, it's too bad you didn't do it." Because they would have remembered you.
See, yeah. But
Because, with the big turban, like,
it would have come up. Yeah.
Because the turban comes down and reveals I'm an alien, right? And then, and all.
I feel like that would,
The guy that did it didn't have all that, but they don't care. That's
because it was just supposed to be a big role anyway.
It's just a drab part.
Yeah. When you would have made it
And
not
undrab,
drab.
and then Will Smith would have been like, who's he?
Why is he didn't? Yeah.
Yeah, who's Will what?
So, okay, just a couple more questions. Right. Wow, this interview has flown by the way.
That's how good you are.
That's how it's supposed. Thank you. That's how much you got to say. No, I'm kidding. We'll talk a little shit here. Does
We're a
the
good
word
team. I like this. We're doing stuff.
Does the word campy annoy you?
It's weird. It doesn't. And I was dealing with this person that wanted to do another thing with me, and he says, "Oh, you're camp. You're like." I don't want to mention. There's these other entertainers, and you're camp. I said, "Well, what do you mean?" "Well, you're not really like you're not really this, you're not really that, but you do the makeup thing."
Right.
I said, "I do the makeup thing." I'm trying to be careful with other things. I'm not trying to hit other creatives.
Yeah.
Because the drag world is exciting. I used to do it. I'm just older now.
Right.
I can't do the splits like they do and do the shots at the same time. I'd slip on the Jello shot, But up. That was the old hag. Camp. If it gets me somewhere, I'm pointing out. I don't care.
Right. It doesn't bother you.
Because I think that I've made it. I'm just grateful to be alive because there was all these moments that were scary.
Right.
Well, the building was never high enough. I turned into Dark Man. I just hurt myself. I wouldn't,
Wow.
Yeah, there was hard times. The ding and ping, though, just when you think it's all over and you're gonna, don't, because
There's still
then
more.
you discover if you do that, this is a big lesson. Don't do anything dumb, because then you won't be around for that great thing you're looking for that you'll never know.
That's a good one. That's a damn good one.
Hear the bell? There's a little bell there.
So, ooh.
Oh, time's up. Oh.
No, we do have, we're close, but no, we do have to pay at least one bill here. So where we ask a couple sponsor question. This one goes out to our primary, our OG sponsor, Thrax Pastry. Nothing for sale here, just a suggestion of where you can spend some time. Normally I would say there's a guarantee, but I'm not guaranteeing nothing. There's no money back. You're just going to take my word for it. You'll like it. You'll enjoy it. But my question with this, super simple. What's your go-to comfort food?
I like steak. I do, if I could do it. I mean, when I can. I'm old school. I like stews.
Ooh, okay.
I like I call it a castle stew because it makes me feel better about myself. You know,
A castle
I
stew.
want a castle stew. It's all in one thing. Everything's there: the meat, the veggies, the potato.
Okay.
I like soups. I like, you know,
I like that. So, okay.
but healthies. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, we're young now. We don't
Right.
care
Oh,
about
yeah.
health. So now
I really like you.
let's try this. This question comes from Sherry's Lounge. It's a cigar place. It's an executive place. It's a place where you can dress up and slow down. All right? Take your time, go hang out, and just kind of enjoy the ambiance. My question with this one is, when it comes to cigars, what's something that you would do with a cigar? Like, do you?
I would act with it. I would do
See?
everything Robinson. I do Johnny Rocco.
See?
Johnny Rocco. You know the great Rocco? Yeah. You're a wise guy, huh? Hey, dummy. You're a wise guy at dumbbell. What are you? Yeah. Go back and be a singing star. You're lousy.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know what a cigar. That means you need more. Go to the cigar bar. Get a few.
See?
Yeah.
Get a pour.
Johnny Rocco. Yeah.
Tell him Johnny Rocco sent
Yeah.
you. I love it. Okay. Just two questions. Two quick questions. Well, actually, no. I want to know what's in the bag. I want to know what's in the bag. What's going on with the bag?
A little mysterious bag from India. Well, when I'm not trying to be dazzling and do the evil queen from Snow White or Bela Lugosi, I do these lovely little things that how I survived all during COVID.
Okay.
I would go in people's faces because I had to eat.
Okay.
You know, and I would do these sketch. I show you so it's not a trick. Because people go, you're impossible.
We didn't have it already
Of course I'm
prepared in the
impossible.
oven, y'all.
That's why I'm here. They're called Your Essence in Seconds.
Okay.
And they're like, you know, this quick portrait art that Charlie Wheeler, that commercial airport that's down there, and where all the stars were. That lovely that Miss whatever her name. What's her name? I'm not a Swiftie, but she is.
There we go.
Anyway.
There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, I do these things called Your Essence in Seconds. And Charlie Wheeler was really sweet. His name is on the building, right? He said, a minute Picasso, one in every bathroom in Kansas City. Michael
minute
McQuary.
Picasso.
Yeah, he called him a minute Picasso. Oh, wow. I've only done this a billion times. This is my favorite one. Look at you. Now I know why you did things with this one. So
I feel like I'm
I have to
holding
catch
for
up-
like an oil painting something right
I know.
now.
Well, these are collected in Rome and Tokyo. I mean, they're a big deal. I do these at parties, you know, and there's a little Venmo thing on the back if you care. But you're done. You're taken care of. You're fine. Here's your new Here's your new business card. So let's see. I tried to get your what. So what does your T-shirt say?
The T-shirt. Well, I'm glad you asked.
I know, right?
The T-shirt says "The Mecca."
The Mecca.
Last Friday of every month, you can come out, hang out, and enjoy an entire menagerie, a bazaar of all kinds of local makers, music players, and all kinds of things. Last Friday of every month. Sorry, I had to just shameless plug.
I'm throwing this lovely girl in the background here. I'm trying to get her in there a little bit too because it's fun. It's all part of the story. What?
What? That actually, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Let's call Your Essence in Seconds.
Yeah, essence and
Look, there's your whole. That's your whole purpose on the planet.
a minute Picasso.
You're too kind.
Look, now.
And
No,
this is,
you're
this,
kind.
This is on the really good shit too. This is like, there you go. There's your
Oh,
McQuary.
that is solid.
It's better close up.
That's no.
So your nest egg's in the lower left hand corner. See the M? There you go.
No, that's okay.
Was that fun?
This was fun, but I wanna end this with something a little bit more fun. not more fun, because this was great, actually. I want to flash that again.
It can't be anyone else,
But
right? It's cute, right?
So, 2 questions.
Yes.
Number one. It's what I call my closing question. I've asked everyone this question. When it's all said and done, when the show is over, what is it you want people to walk away with as far as the Michael McQuary experience?
That you're okay. My audience is, I'm grateful for them, and it's about them, and it's giving them permission to be who they are.
I love that.
Ding ding, sprinkle some salt.
So
can I do the last little thing? We have time.
I was just going to say, I want to leave you a
This
moment.
is great upside down, by the way. My dad used to say, it's been upside down because your brain can't catch up with it, so it is good. May I do what I do when everything is...
I want you to end the show with...
Can I do it here? Just like one with you? I was doing a gig, and these 2 beautiful girls were like, but you, what are you like? What's your name? You see, because I'm just the guy.
Right.
I'm just the guy. And when I'm stopped on the street, they go, oh, you're the... Because that's what I do. You know?
Right.
And I go, well, when I'm all alone and it's just, I need to feel something. Can I just go into it? Can you hear me? This is good. We've heard. I do this little song, and it's like really nice. And I shouldn't tell you. You have to decide on your own. But it's giving you the permission that I said, that when it's all over, when the curtain's drawn, what do you take away? And it's pretend you're happy when you're blue. It isn't very hard to do, and you'll find happiness without an end whenever you pretend. Remember, anyone can dream, and nothing's bad as it may seem. The little things you haven't got could be a lot if you pretend. You'll find a love you can share, one you can call all your own. Just close your eyes and they're there. You'll never be alone. And if you sing this melody, you'll be pretending just like me. The world is mine, it can be yours, my friend. So why don't you pretend?
With that, this has been one hell of an entertaining conversation. Bump Jonas here with none other than
Michael McQuary.
Add some more applause.
Look, see this? Watch, see this?
Look at that. Now, as I always say, love yourself like you try to love the world. Do something to earn your place in the world this week, and just be some dope individuals. Y'all have a good one. Peace.